Are you wondering if the new Linux 7.1 kernel will break your dual boot setup? Do you want to know how the new in-kernel NTFS driver actually works? If so, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to expect from the latest kernel, the new Ubuntu 26.04 LTS release, and some critical security updates that you cannot afford to ignore. We'll get to why that new NTFS driver matters for your daily driver in just a moment. But first, let's look at a security flaw that might leave your system exposed right now. Security researchers have uncovered a high-severity vulnerability in the Linux kernel, tracked as CVE 2026-23111, and the cause? A single errant character. Before we look at the fix, let's understand the stakes. This flaw exists in NF tables, the subsystem responsible for packet filtering and firewall rules. A misissued exclamation point in the code created a use after free vulnerability. This means an unprivileged user or a malicious process could elevate their system rights to root. It works by disrupting the deletion of verdicts within the framework, essentially exploiting a wildcard mechanism to corrupt memory at a predictable address. If you are running a server or a shared system, this is a critical issue. The good news is that patches are already rolling out across major distributions. Alma Linux has already pushed fixes for this and several other local root flaws this week. Make sure your system is up to date, especially if you rely on NF tables for your firewall. Now, let's talk about the big release of the week. Linus Torvalds has officially announced Linux kernel 7.1. This isn't just a minor point release, it brings some fundamental changes. The headline feature is a brand new kernel-native NTFS driver. This has been in development for 4 years. Instead of relying on the older NTFS 3G driver through Fuse, which had known performance ceilings, this new driver is built directly into the kernel's modern I/O stack. It features full write support with delayed allocation, meaning significantly better write performance and stability. If you dual boot with Windows or manage NTFS drives, you will notice the difference. But that's not all. Intel's flexible return and event delivery, or FRED, is now enabled by default. This is an architectural rework of how the CPU handles exceptions and interrupts. For those on Panther Lake and newer Intel platforms, this means lower latency and improved security. There's also a significant cleanup. Over 140,000 lines of legacy code have been removed, including support for 486-era sub-architectures. It's a necessary step to keep the kernel maintainable. However, a quick warning before you upgrade, UDP Lite support has been completely removed and IPv6 can no longer be compiled as a standalone loadable module. If you maintain custom kernel builds, check your configs before you update. Moving on to distribution news, Canonical has unveiled Ubuntu 26.04 LTS, codenamed Resolute Raccoon. This is a long-term support release guaranteeing 5 years of standard support, extendable to 10 years with Ubuntu Pro. It's built around the new Linux 7.0 kernel, bringing native support for Intel Core Ultra Series 3 processors and integrated Intel Xe3 graphics. On the desktop side, Ubuntu 26.04 has fully embraced Wayland, shipping with GNOME 50. Native X11 support is gone, though older apps can still run via X-Wayland. The installer now includes built-in TPM-based full disk encryption, and core system tools like sudo and cp have been replaced with safer Rust-based versions. The system requirements have also gone up. You'll now need at least a 2 GHz dual-core CPU, 6 GB of RAM, and 25 GB of storage for the desktop edition. If you're on older hardware, the lighter flavors like Ubuntu or Lubuntu remain a solid option. If you are still running the interim Ubuntu 25.10 release, be aware that it reaches end of life on July 9th, 2026. That's less than a month away. It's time to start planning your upgrade to 26.04. Finally, let's talk about Linux gaming. If you've ever felt that gaming on Linux had slightly more input lag than Windows, you aren't imagining things. KDE developer Jakub Okonski has been measuring click-to-photon latency between Windows 11 and Linux with KDE Plasma 6. Using a hardware microcontroller as a precise measurement tool, he confirmed that Windows currently has a slight edge in display latency. But here is the payoff. He has developed patches for the KWin Wayland compositor to address this directly. The gains in windowed games and apps are expected to be substantial, with VSync full-screen games seeing a benefit of about a millisecond. While this won't completely close the roughly 4 millisecond gap observed in the best VRR scenarios, it's a meaningful step forward for competitive gaming on Linux. These patches won't make it into the imminent Plasma 6.7 release, which ships today, by the way, but they are being submitted for upstream KWin in the coming weeks. We've covered a lot today: a critical kernel root exploit that's already patched, a major kernel release with a 4-year NTFS rewrite, Ubuntu 26.04, LTS going all in on Wayland, and KDE developers actively closing the gaming latency gap with Windows. Speaking of Linux gaming, If you want to understand why this latency work actually matters for the bigger picture, I did a deep dive a few weeks ago on why Linux gaming is about to explode in 2026. It covers the Steam market share shift, Proton's progress, and what's really driving the momentum. That video is on screen right now. If this was useful, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and sign up for the newsletter at tondoslinux.com. Subscribe to get this kind of breakdown delivered directly to your inbox every week.